Toolkit allows you to manage device application settings offline and store them in settings files. To create a settings file, you can save a connected device's settings to a file, create a settings file from application defaults, or build settings using an existing settings file. Once you have a settings file, you can view and edit it, compare it to another settings file, associate it with a different application, add or remove settings from it, and load it back into a device. Settings files can also be exported to an HTML file for viewing or printing. To create a settings file using the application defaults, select the New Ribbon button in the Settings ribbon, then select the Create from Defaults option in the drop-down. Select the Service Interface Definition Specification file that you wish to create the settings file from. The new settings file will be opened in the generic settings editor for viewing and editing. To create a settings file from a device, select the Save from Device ribbon button in the Settings ribbon. In the wizard, select the file name to save the settings to. Select the network to connect to the device over. Select the device on the network. If necessary, enter security credentials. If desired, enter settings file notes for the file. At the end of the wizard, if you select the option to open the settings file after closing the wizard, the settings file will be opened in a settings editor. To edit a saved settings file, select the Edit button from the Settings ribbon. Using the File Selection dialog, browse to the file you wish to view, and select it. The settings file will be opened in the generic settings editor. The settings file contents are displayed in a tree view. To view a setting, navigate the tree to the setting. For each setting, columns display the identifier, value, units, help, full parameter name, and the default value. If help is available for a setting, a question mark icon will display in the help column. To view the help, select the question mark icon. To edit a setting, double-click in the value column. An editor will be displayed for the specific data type of the setting. For composite data types, like tables, an Edit button will display in the value column. Select the Edit button and an editor will be displayed in place of the tree view for the composite type. After editing the value, select the Go Back button to return to the tree view. Once the desired changes have been made to the settings file, click the Save button on the main ribbon to save the changes to the file. The visible settings can be filtered based on the identifier text. Filtering is done using the filtering text box above the tree view. Enter the text to filter by in the text box and press the filter button at the right of the text box, or wait a few seconds and the filter will be applied automatically. The tree will be filtered using the filter text. Clear the filter by deleting the text in the filter text box, or by selecting the Clear Filter button at the right of the text box. Notes can be attached to a settings file. The notes are displayed in a text box at the bottom of the generic settings editor window. To edit the notes, click the Notes text box and edit the notes. To add or remove settings from the file, select the Add Remove Settings ribbon button in the main ribbon. The settings editor will enter the edit mode. The right side of the window will show the resulting settings file. The left side of the window will show source settings files to add settings from. To add a new source settings file, select the Add Settings File button next to the Source Settings File drop-down. Use the File Open dialog to select the new source settings file. Select the source settings file in the drop-down and add the parameters from the file to the resulting settings file. There are multiple ways to add settings from a source settings file to the resulting settings file. Select the parameters from the source tree and drag and drop them to the resulting settings tree view. Select the parameters from the source tree and select the Add Selected button. Double-click on a parameter in the source tree. Select the Add All button to add all the parameters from the source settings file to the resulting file. You can also view the source settings file in a list view by selecting the List tab. There are multiple ways to delete settings from the resulting settings file. Select the settings to be deleted in the resulting settings tree view, and then select the Remove Settings ribbon button on the main ribbon. Or, select the settings to be deleted, and press the Delete key on the keyboard. Settings files support the ability to display a message to the user whenever the file is loaded into a device. To add a load message, select the Set Load Message button on the main ribbon. In the dialog, select the checkbox to show the message, and enter the message text. If you wish to show a warning icon with the message, select the checkbox to show the warning icon. Settings files can be exported to HTML for viewing and printing in an internet browser or for use in other applications such as spreadsheets and word processors. To export a settings file, select the Export button on the main ribbon. In the Export dialog, select the format of the report by selecting either the Hierarchical Radio button or the Tabular Radio button. A logical example of the format type will be displayed on the dialog, but no data will appear in the example. Select the Browse button, and use the Save dialog to select the desired directory, and type in a file name to export the settings to. Once the format, file name, and destination have been selected, press the Export button to begin the export process. To create a settings file from an existing file, select the New Ribbon button in the Settings ribbon. Select the Create from Existing option in the drop-down. Use the File Open dialog to select the settings file. The generic settings editor will open in edit mode. Some tools provide settings editors that are designed specifically for a device application. These settings editors will only be displayed if a tool is open that includes the designed editor, and the settings file that is opened is targeted to the same service interface definition specification as the editor. I hope this tutorial helped you understand how to create and edit settings files. For more information about working with settings files, please see the Toolkit help.